We interrupt this program for a special news bulletin.
Throws toward the corner of the end zone. It is intercepted! Intercepted! The Ducks have the ball!
To the end zone! Oregon! Mariota dives! Touchdown! They hand it off straight out! C.J. Burdell wins the game for Oregon!
Inside the 10! A hat-trick, a touchdown from Justin Herbert! Howard's going to run for it. Time runs out, and that'll do it! Welcome to the Big Ten, Oregon! They storm the field at Autzen!
All right, Duck fans, here we go. Welcome to the newest episode of the Ducks Rising podcast. I'm Zachary, Neel, my co-host Travis Rooke-Ley. After an incredible 18-16 win over Iowa, Travis, how you feeling, man? I'm a little stressed, I'm not going to lie.
I am. It's one of those things where you feel a little bit like you played. I just the game ends and you're like, holy cow. I
have
dead.
A drink right here because I was like, man, I need one. I need one. I'm just tired.
The Oregon win comboed nightcap by switching right over to Big Ten Network, and watching the end of that game was quite the little combo. Yeah,
this one was. We knew going into this game that it was going to be one of those, even before the injury news. We were always comparing this to 2023 Utah. We're like, all right, going into a tough environment, a must-win physical game. It ended up being more like 2022 Utah, where you had the Bo injury. You didn't know if he was going to play or not going into it. And it's you didn't know how close to full strength you would be in the end. That's what it was. And then again, they just pull out a really, really gutty win. There was a million times they could have lost that game, a million different reasons they could have lost that game. It was a very losable game. I'm impressed, man. That's something we needed to see from this team.
Yeah, we talked all week about how we didn't want to let Iowa turn into an Iowa game, and I suppose we failed at that venture because, boy, could you have more of an Iowa game from the safety to the score to everything that went on. But, it's similar to that Penn State game. It ended so close, but I come away feeling pretty confident we were the better team, feeling like we dominated most of the game, feeling like we were 1, 2, 3 plays away from knockout punches at all different moments. So, yeah, all things considered, injuries, officiating, everything, it's a hell of a win.
Well, and I think you reposted it on Twitter. It's we were the better team, and that was without DeCorian and Kenyon and Gary and Harkey, and with a lot of bad calls and the weather. And it's okay, and we still were the better team there. So, all in all, I feel very good about when this team is at full strength and playing well, which, of course, has not been the case every week. Both of those things put together, I feel good about this team. But I don't know. I just found myself thinking, in the past, I'll speak for myself when saying I'd see other teams would lose to Iowa, and it'd be like, come on, man, what are you doing? You know what they're gonna do. They how good can they be not passing the ball? Just don't play their style of football. And then you get in it and you watch this team and you watch how easy it is to kind of fall into that style of football. And it's credit to them, man. Iowa is a very good team. They know what they're good at. They know what they can do. Man, I have a lot of respect for them after this game. I think they can win a lot of games. I think they're a good team. I unfortunately think they might fall out of the top 25 because of the loss. So Oregon, once again, is not going to have a top 25 win. That's a conversation for a different time. But just a very fun football game. I'm tired. I'm ready for bed tonight.
There's a ton of Oregon teams in the past that would have lost this game, and I texted that same thing to a couple of people around the program after the game. I was just hey, I've followed Oregon for a long time, and I've seen us lose that game many, many times in my life, so congrats to y'all. And I think the sentiment coming back, which makes a lot of sense to me, was we love that we won that way. You could tell, I think the coaches kind of embraced the adversity going into the game, embraced some of the elements and the injuries and stuff like that, and I think while it was stressful in the moment, winning in that way, I think feels special in a sense.
I completely agree. This is our first official post-game pod, so listeners kind of bear with us. We're kind of just free-flowing this game, figuring out how we want to do this. We don't always do post-game pods, but we were texting after the game with Jeff, and you texted me, and I was having the same thought, and it's let's just podcast. We've got enough thoughts. We've got enough to say. Let's just get some of these reactions on the airwaves. So I think we want to go through just the game, like the play-by-play, not play-by-play, drive-by-drive of the game, and just kind of get some of our initial thoughts there, and then go over some major takeaways. So I'll start by asking, Oregon comes out. Obviously, they get the 3-and-out on defense. Great. Come out and throw it 3 times. 3-and-out. What were your thoughts? Because I was, like, already yelling at the TV. I was like, are you serious? Like, this is what this game is going to be? Come on.
Yeah, I was not pleased. I went back and watched the first down, and I think it was maybe an RPO call, so it could have been a run call. It's one of those situations where I'm like, we've talked about all this year of just like, call the run. Like, we don't want to let the other team determine what we're trying to do, and given the success we had after that. I mean, it was just such an ideal start. I mean, everything you talk about all week, it's like, hey, let's go defer, get a 3-and-out, and then get the ball to 50. It's like, how much better could you draw it up? And then, yeah, to see us just come out a little shaky. You know, Dante, first down pass came a little hot. Looked like he had a little trouble getting a grip of it. Then you throw kind of a botch screen, and then you throw a pass through the, Iowa defender's hands. I was like, oh, boy, this is starting a little dicey. But thankfully, they handed it right back with a little 2-point safety. I can't remember in my lifetime having a 2-0 lead in a football game. I don't know if you can think of one, but it probably harkens us back to high school, if anything.
We were never getting safeties at South Eugene. At least my team wasn't. We weren't that good. Yeah, it was fine. I listened to Dan's press conference just before this, and he was saying about that first thing. Like, he came out, he's like, yeah, we ran 3 times, or we passed 3 times on the first drive. That was not the plan, but we just saw how many guys they had in the box, so we went with it and we threw it. And then after that didn't work, we're like, okay, we just need to we need to win this game the way that we know it needs to be won. We need to play this the way we know it needs to, and we know we need to run the ball. So,
yeah, I think it clearly wasn't the plan from what Dan said. And, I mean, they obviously quickly adjusted. I mean, all week we talked about first 3 drives of the game, what were those going to look like? And, they made an adjustment very quickly. Those second 2 drives are super, super good. Obviously, second drive of the game, you get down into the red zone. And, I don't know. I mean, I didn't think it was a terrible pass or more. I thought the DB made a really good play on the interception in the end zone, coming off his assignment. I think, obviously, continuity-wise with Cooper Perry in there, maybe that's just a thing. You don't have a ton of reps with that guy. But I didn't mind that we ripped one in there and tried to take a shot in that situation, especially given where we came into the game thinking about our kicking game was. So, overall, I mean, yeah, clunky first drive. But you look at those first 3 drives as a whole, and, I don't think we could have expected much better.
So Oregon in the second quarter gets that touchdown, goes up 9-0. How are you feeling at this point? Because I think that's the first point in the game where I exhaled, and I was like, okay. Part of me, I didn't want to say it at this point. I almost sent it to my group chat, and then I deleted it because I was like, don't jinx it. Just don't do it. But part of me thought, I was like, 9 points may be enough to win this game. That was a thought that went through my head. Obviously, that wasn't true, but I took a little bit of a breath there. Curious how you felt.
I'm right there with you. I mean, the great thing about the 2 is I was thinking, okay, if we can get 7 here at some point, you got a 2-score lead, and you're in a pretty advantageous situation. And yeah, those first 2, maybe 3 Iowa possessions, I mean, a couple of those passes Gronowski threw, I was like, oh man, this is even worse than I kind of thought it might be. So I was confident. I was right there with you, and we had a couple chances to get off the field in that touchdown drive Iowa had following us going up 9-0. We just couldn't quite get off the field. They converted a couple short. We struggled a little bit tonight in 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9. They kept getting down to 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, which you saw the difference. When they had situations where they could still run, they had success. When they were dropped back 3rd and 8, stuff like that, they did not have a whole ton of success. So you could just see the difference that made. And then, yeah, I mean, drive down and go up 9-7. I know they drew up a nice little play that I think they had kind of scripted to go after one of our linebackers, and Bryce got caught there. But, I mean, the more we could score, you had to feel good about slowing them down, because really, beyond a couple kind of blown assignments / hits in the passing game that I'm sure we'll get to, there wasn't much.
Yeah, I felt like this was probably a really gut-wrenching loss for Iowa, because I think they probably played like they were hoping to and really executed their plan. Like you said, they were getting to 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6, 3rd and 2, 3-yard gain, first down, barely. And they did that consistently over and over again. That touchdown drive, 10 plays, 75 yards. I think they were playing pretty efficiently. They were playing Iowa football. There was the time, into the first half, I think that the clock management stuff kind of came up a little bit. I know Dan talked about it more in his press conference about like the end of game stuff, but I think the first half, like they were kind of just letting a lot of time run off. We were talking to Jeff. He said that he understands it because they were getting the ball out of halftime, but I was yelling at the TV. I was like, "Take your timeouts. Like you've got them. Like you're just like letting time go." What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I love the way we started it. I mean, I think Iowa had the ball close to midfield with about 3 minutes left, and I was thinking, like, gosh, if we can just get the ball back and go into the half up 12-7, or up 9-7 at that point with the ball, like, I'm feeling great. So the last thing I want to do is give the ball back to Iowa, but we started moving it. I mean, Noah had a couple big runs like he did all game. I think we got to the Iowa 40, inside the 40 with about 1:10 left, and that's where we really slowed it down. So I was just a little frustrated because I thought that could have been like a kill shot time to just push the ball a little bit and get 7 there, because I think getting back to that 2-score lead would have been massive in that situation. I just think, I mean, all night Dan showed a lot of trust in Sappington, trust that I did not have. I don't think you had. I don't think anyone I knew had. And
I don't think anyone who wears Oregon on their chest outside of that team.
Totally. So, like, I think the plan and the pace we were moving at made sense if we had a previously super reliable, Nails kicker. I just didn't think we did, and so I thought we should have kind of pushed the ball a little bit. But obviously, we ended up in a good situation. I mean, just looking back at the first half in general, I mean, the offense, besides the first drive, had a lot of success. The only drives we were empty-handed were the interception in the red zone, the first drive of the game, and then our second to last drive of the half, where what was that OPI call on McClellan? I mean,
we'll talk about the officiating.
Yeah, but that's just a killer. I mean, in a game like this, a 15-yard offense OPI penalty when you're going to move the ball. So if you take out that stuff, I mean, overall, I think offensive-wise in the first half, you couldn't ask for much more.
And then coming out of the half, I think that was one of, like, just the Oregon pessimists in me. That was one of, like, the most predictable 3-and-outs I've ever seen. I was like, oh, yeah, of course. Like, this team isn't going to do it right now. But then they get the crucial fumble from Brandon Finney, pops it out. It takes 10 minutes to review because of this officiating crew. But 11-play drive, stop them in the red zone. First stop all year in the red zone. Still to this day, only stop all year in the red zone. Incredible. And of course, it's a true freshman coming up with the play. I love it.
First of all, how is that play ruled down? The ball was out for about 5 seconds. He's not even close to down. Yeah, and then like you said, it takes forever to review. I'm thinking, like, what are they going to try to do right now in making this look like it is even close? But yeah, I mean, heck of a play there. I mean, to come out of it, all first half you're thinking, like, we're getting the ball, this is great. If we can just be a lead, we're getting the ball. And like you said, we just, like, hand the ball back to them in 1 minute, and then they're suddenly moving the ball. Nothing was easy. I guess credit to the defense. I mean, we defended the run well all night. Mm-hmm. It was certainly not easy pickings, but kind of slow, your classic slow, methodical down the field. I think the drive ended up being 7 minutes, 11 plays, 54 yards, 7 minutes. Yeah, so, like, it was one of those drives that we kind of worried about all week of, like, oh, they're just ground, pound, 3 yards of cloud of dust. But, I mean, these games come down to small plays like that. So at that point, you're thinking, hey, we've both been in the red zone and forced a turnover. So things kind of shook out even there.
Yeah, the fact, like, we're going to go back to the officiating a million times. So the fact that they were, like, lining up to run the next play, like, after the replay was, like, showing, like, oh, it's a fumble, the Danielson and the broadcast were like, oh, yeah, that's a fumble, like, that's out. And then, like, they cut away from the replay, and, like, I was about to hike the ball. You can ask my wife. I was sitting next to her. I was like, wait, no. What are you doing? And then finally they got the timeout. Dan said in his post-game interview, he was like, yeah, like, I kept waiting for them to review it, waiting. And then, like, finally we got to where they reviewed it. And he started to talk about other officiating stuff and then had to stop himself. Smartly so, because I think he could have gone on and probably cost himself some money. But ultimately, awesome play by Finney. Good, huge momentum swinging turnover. Go down, get the field goal from Sappington. His second of the night. Again, it was like, wow, all right. He's got 2 tonight. This is career game for an Oregon career game for Sappington. It was pretty impressive.
And they were not, I mean, if we just talk about the first two so far, they were not gimmies, and they were like legit good kicks. I
40
mean,
and 46.
we've seen Oregon kick, yeah, in the rain and a little bit of wind. I mean, those are ballsy kicks, and he was just completely nailed. So yeah, I mean, that swing obviously is massive, and you get up 8 in that situation there. Obviously, the one piece of it is you have a touchdown to Saleapaga if Yuli just like holds his block. I mean, that's the tough thing in that situation, and that's how these little things matter so much. I mean, we could be having a completely different conversation right now if we don't convert late, and it just comes down to like the entire offense knows you are in play action right there, and it's going to be a quick pass. You just need to hold up. The only thing you cannot do there is get pushed back into the quarterback. And so to have just like the smallest thing come down, I mean, that's a 4-point swing that if you put up 7 there at the end of the quarter, you're back up 9, you're in a great spot. So I'm thankful we got bailed out when it comes to that, but
at that point, dicey. You're up 12, because then it would have been, instead of 15-7, it would have gone to 19-7, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's a huge sliding doors moment in this game that we, I mean, fortunately are not looking back on with dread because they came out and won it. But is there anything more classic than Iowa coming down and hitting a 58-yarder? Like, when he trotted out on the field, we're all just like, of course he's going to make this. Like, of course. He's lining up in midfield. Yeah, this is, what a kick. Like, that was just classic.
Classic against Oregon kicker. I'm just glad for once the kicking game was at least somewhat even. I can't remember a kicking battle we've won probably in my life, so I'll take it.
I didn't have the time because it was just like middle of the game, crunch time, but I do plan to go back through all of the games this year at least and just see how many like career-long field goals have been hit against us, because I'm pretty sure it's 3, but I don't know that number for sure. But I remember it being at least a few times, so, or at least just like a 55-plus yarder. Like, I don't understand.
The Indiana guy this year, I mean, comes out and bangs a 58-yard at the end of the half.
It's just a very cruel hell that Oregon lives in with kickers.
Yep.
All right, so then Oregon punts after 7 plays, only moved at 38 yards. Shout out to Ferguson.
But once again, like
all the special teams, they played really well and kept it away from that returner.
Totally, and I mean, once again, though, like, we're moving the ball. That was a drive where Dier came out and had some... I mean, you saw Dier, Jordan, and Noah all have good runs kind of in a row. We were moving. And we get to 3rd and 3, and, like, I'm not a Stein hater. God, I love Will Stein. I think he's awesome. But we were gashing them. And you get to 3rd and 3. I think it was probably about the 35 or so. And, like, we've seen the QB's sweep work. I don't think it's like necessarily a bad play call. I just think in that situation where you ultimately get a holding call and get knocked back, like, we were having success running right at them. And when you go wide like that with the quarterback, you just open up a situation for not only that, but negative yardage, even yardage, where you know we're going for it on 4th if we just get plus yardage there. So I just would have liked us continue to lean on them a little bit. Once again, another situation to go up 2 scores. I
just didn't understand it. The inside zone. It's not hard. Like halfback dive. Just run the ball.
Yep.
And then you get the classic Iowa form of hell. 12 plays, 93 yards, 6 minutes and 45 seconds off the clock. Some of the worst pass breakdowns I've seen this year. Some awful officiating calls, some non-intentional grounding twice. God, I mean, once they scored that touchdown and there was, a minute 51 left, I was like, wow. Like, I personally, again, speaking for myself, made fun of teams before for losing to Iowa and losing to Iowa when they play Iowa football. And I'm like, oh, this is us now. We are experiencing this in real time, and it is awful.
If you just go, I mean, I think if you had asked any of us before the game, you're up 8, 6 minutes left, Iowa has to go 93 yards. How do you feel? I'm like, feel good. I mean, that's what I was saying going into that. I'm like, we've had a ton of chances to put this game away. It's frustrating. Having said that, we should be able to not allow them to go 93 yards. And then right away, you get to 3rd and 6. Mm-hmm. You're in a great spot. Gronowski's running for his life. And Thieneman and Flowers are looking at something. I'm not sure what. And a white tight end who probably runs a 5.3 40 gets past them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's tough. Like, it just can't happen. I mean, those safeties have been awesome all year. I don't think they played poorly, but they owe Dante Moore, Malik Benson, and Sappington a lot because that was the play in that drive. I know you mentioned a couple grounding calls. I just expect that's never going to go in our favor. They just never call stuff like that, I feel like.
Yeah. Well, this crew for sure does not.
Yeah. And then you get down to, I mean, my only other gripe, and I don't mean to sound negative, but the 4th and goal.
Oh, my God.
Iowa goes 5 wide, and not only 5 wide, like 5 the widest you can go. They had 2 receivers so far to the right. I don't think Gronowski can even throw the ball that far.
It was a clear out play. And all it was, just clear out in basketball.
And we just
ISO.
Like, we put 3 bodies out there. We have a 4-man box against 5 linemen. That was obviously going to end that way.
Tatum was a spy.
I know. Yeah, and I know people are blaming Tatum for like taking it wrong, but like they didn't block that as well as they should have. We're lucky Tatum wasn't stood up. They had 5 blockers plus a runner for 4 guys in the box. Both of our outside linebackers, Mixon and Betcher, were like somewhat on the edge and bailed into coverage. I could not believe the play call because every human I know in the world said that that's a QB draw.
Yeah, it was an obvious, but like, I just wonder like, if we put ourselves into the coach's shoes, like how would we have better defended it? Would you have just left some of the receivers on the outside? I mean, because they manned up on the outside, right? I need to watch the game back and see that.
No. They had extra bodies on both sides.
Extra bodies on both sides out on the wide receivers?
So on the left side of the screen, you had 2 receivers and 3 defenders. And on the right side of the screen, you had 3 receivers and 4 defenders.
Okay, yeah, that makes 0 sense when it's, yeah.
How do we not just man up in this situation?
Yeah, just put an extra hat in there. Even go to even in the middle, in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he walked in, I mean, literally walked in, it was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Because it was such a winnable game, very losable game, obviously, that we've gone through. But, like, you had it, man. There was, like, it was right there. Yeah, and so then we get, let me collapse that real quick. Okay, so then Oregon ball, minute 51 left, 3 timeouts, get the ball at the 25. What's going through your mind? Like, what if you're going a confidence meter 0 to 10? How confident were you that they? I mean, because obviously we should say they missed the 2-point conversion, so you need a field goal to win. That's it. How confident were you?
Not very confident.
Okay.
I'm just gonna be honest. I mean, here's where it stemmed from. I think Dante had thrown for 65 yards at that point. Mm-hmm. We didn't need it, so I wouldn't say he was necessarily off, but he definitely wasn't in a rhythm. No. So I think there's a big difference there. We were down receivers. It was horrible weather, and bless his heart, I'll never say a bad thing about him again, but I still do not feel confident in our kicking game in that situation. And so I'm thinking we need to get down inside the 20 for us to feel good. Mm-hmm. And start off a little slow. I like that we ran the ball to start. I know both of us watched Dan's presser, and I know they have a philosophy of like saving your timeouts towards the end. Like, credit to them, it worked out. Yeah. I wasn't in that boat while I was watching. I thought we let a good chunk of time run early. Once again, I thought we were putting a lot of trust in our kicker in a situation where I didn't know he had necessarily earned that trust. But credit to him, credit to Dan, credit to Stein, credit to Dante's BB to Benson, because if that doesn't happen, I don't think we're talking right now.
What a pass. That was incredible. Yeah, I actually differ from you here. When they got the ball, 3 timeouts left, a minute 51, I was like, okay. Like, I felt pretty confident. I'd say I was like a 7 out of 10. I was like, I think they're going to do this right now. I know that they had not given too many reasons to be like that confident, but we've just seen Dante in these spots. Like, I think back just the Penn State game. Honestly, that's like pretty much the only time we've seen him. He was really calm and collected, and like he lives for that moment. So I know that he's throwing to 3 receivers that he has not thrown to a lot. I would have felt way better if Kenyon was there or DeCorian was there. I love that Malik was still out there. I wish Gary was out there because he is just dependable in that situation. But I don't know. I felt really good that they all needed to get to I was thinking about the 30, 25 or 30. But also, like, when they took a couple of shots there at the end where it's like, I was just like, please get a touchdown so we don't have to do this. So we don't have to just hold on to our butts and just see what happens. But credit to them, man. They pulled it out. That was a big boy football game. I still cannot believe that Sappington made that kick. I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and still not believe that a kicker won us the game. I think we were celebrating. I texted for that. We're celebrating this win like it was a playoff game or a championship game. And it was like, oh yeah, we beat Iowa in week 11, which, considering where we're at in the season, kind of was a playoff game. You had to win that to stay in the hunt. But man, like that was something else. I don't think. When was the last time you were that excited about an Oregon win?
It felt
Were you that excited for the Big Ten title?
I mean, it felt similar in ways to how I felt after Penn State, to be honest.
This year Penn State or last year?
Yeah,
Penn State?
this year Penn State. Just it felt like you're going into someone else's house. It was a grinder of a game, and you just kind of win at the buzzer of sorts. But like you said, I mean, some people thought I was being hyperbolic. That was right up there with as big of a game going in as we've had in the regular season in quite a bit of a while, just given all the stakes and everything. So you're in a great spot now. I mean, if you tell any of us at the start of the year, Minnesota, USC, Washington, that's your path to a really advantageous seed and a really great position, all of us sign up for it. Like, I know we all want to be undefeated, but we all sign up for it instantly. And I think that some of the concerns and questions we had going into the week, some of the offensive stuff we talked about, it wasn't perfect, but we have ran the ball really dang well now. Back-to-back games against good run defenses in crappy weather when they knew we were running right at them. I think that's really going to matter, especially when I watch. I don't think this Minnesota game's a cupcake by any means, but I watch USC and Washington's run defense, and like, it's not physical.
I mean, Washington just lost to Wisconsin, so yeah, I'm much less stressed about that game. Again, it was a snow game and on the road, but still, they lost to Wisconsin.
I've never seen a coach look more just, I want to be in Arizona with my wife than Jed Fish did in the fourth quarter.
He was so cold. He was so ready to get out of there. I think I was a little bit more like relieved than excited. I think I was more like just, I guess I'd say emotional. Not that like I was sad, but like emotion, excitement, everything. Like emotional after this game than Penn State, just because there was more riding on this game. If we lost that Penn State game, like, we're fine. Like, you still have chances to get in the playoff. Like, you're still in a good spot. They weren't supposed to win that Penn State game. If you lost this game, the season's kind of over as far as our expectations go. So that's where I think I felt a little bit more relief and was like, wow, okay, that was the hardest game, in my opinion, the hardest game left on their schedule. They got it done. I didn't think they were going to at some point. So now I feel like it's not smooth sailing. There's still tough games on the schedule here, like we said, but it's all there. Like, they are still on that path. They can still do this. They didn't play their best football. They were down several pieces. Get healthy, start, continue going in the right direction. It's there, man. It's possible. And I'm not saying like championship, but like, I'm not saying championship. Like, who knows? Like, I'm curious to see what this ceiling is for this team.
Yeah, I think that's a great. I feel you on the relief piece, because it's. I mean, for those of us that, me and you, eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff, and we're talking about year round. It's fun to be in the hunt another week. It's fun to be fired up to tune into the ranking show on Tuesday and listen to reaction pods, and like. That all comes with a win, and you're still in the fight. And I mean, I think Minnesota's going to be. I hope Duck fans don't think this is just going to be a cakewalk. Of course, Minnesota's coming off a bye, and we're coming off a road trip to Iowa on a short week.
BS.
Classic, total classic,
yeah.
Big Ten move. Not to channel my inner Lincoln Riley or anything, but. No, I mean, you're in a good spot. It's a hell of a win. It's a team win. It's a culture win. It's a next man up win. It's all the, like, I think if you're thinking about all the coach speak type things that I know Lanning breeds and believes in, like, so many of them were on the table today.
Totally. Yeah, as someone who directly makes a living based off how much people read about and talk about and care about the Ducks, yeah, there's a lot of relief today. Because I've seen how page views and income goes down with a second loss in the year. And it's I'm happy to be in the hunt for a little bit longer, for at least another few days. And, hopefully longer than that. All right, we've got the game out of the way. General takeaways. I know we've been talking for a long time, but we can talk more about officiating. We can talk about how this may be one of where this ranks among Lanning's biggest wins at Oregon. Where do you want to go here? Actually, you know what? Before we do this, let's talk about backer. We need to get some of our ads in. We need to pay some of our bills. I'm wearing my backer jacket right now. You were wearing your backer jacket when we hopped on, and you changed to get us some diversity in the podcast. Tell me about backer, because this is incredible stuff.
I saw a couple Duck fans in the crowd today when they shot to the Oregon section wearing their backer gear. I assume those were the two driest fans out there when they were leaving Iowa City. So, I don't know what these themes are coming up. Do you know, is it a Wear Green game this week? I think it is, right?
I don't know. I know that you
whatever it is,
what it is.
We're probably just going to have rain the rest of the games this year at this point. That's what it's kind of shaping up to be. So, like Zach said, bckrbacker.com, check them out. Perfect thing heading into the holidays. Perfect thing is this weather. If you're up here in Oregon with us, need to stay dry and just stay warm. This is the place to be.
How about, who was it on, I think it was Booger McFarland on ESPN. It's like, yeah, they don't get cold rain up there in Oregon. It's like, what? Yeah. What are you talking about? You ever been here? That was a very interesting story.
Probably no, honestly.
No, yeah. The weather was going to be a factor for us. Like, it was a factor for everyone, but no more for us than them. Where do you want to go here? Biggest takeaways from this game? Biggest kind of, things left on the table to talk about before we get out of here?
I think you got to start with the offensive line. We've mentioned the rush success, but 3 yards a carry, 261 yards. 261 yards on the ground, new right tackle, lack of continuity, Iowa defense that's been stingy all year. They know we're running right at them, and boy, did we. All three running backs had success, but I just got to give it up to that unit. I know Janoris had one false start. We were clean otherwise when it comes to the offensive line, just like we were at Penn State. I think there's somehow Duck fans who still like to hate on Coach Terry, but I think it's a big hit tap to him and that entire unit, law firm. We got to give them a big shout for that kind of work.
Duck fans like to hate on everyone and everything. I love Duck fans. We are both Duck fans. I have a lot of problems with Duck fans sometimes. The number of tweets that are just like, oh, fire Will Stein. Even in my group chat with my friends, I'm the biggest Will Stein caper in my group chats. I don't even I like Will Stein. I think he's a good coach, but you'd think I was his number one fan just based on everyone thinking oh my gosh, he needs to get out of here. These screens, fire Wilson. I was like, settle down. We're fine. He's really good. The offensive line was great. The defensive line, incredible. Just the entire trenches. I love seeing I think Oregon gained a lot of respect because people didn't know that they could play this style of Big Ten football and be the more physical team against, one of the most physical teams in Iowa. And they, I wouldn't say dominated the trenches, but they absolutely held their own and more.
Yeah, Iowa was, I think, 42 they were under 3 yards a carry. So
Let me see, I've got it right here.
I think it was 2.3
They
yards.
were 43 attempts for 140 yards, 3.3 yards. And that we had some sacks in there too. So I don't know what
either way
it is, but yes, around there.
Yeah, like you mentioned, defensive line, I think, Betcher got caught once, like we mentioned, in pass defense, but we've been hard on the linebackers all year. It's never perfect, but you're not going to defend the run like we did without them playing at least passable football. So I think with Devin Jackson out, Mixon and Betcher played a ton. I'm interested to see the snap counts because I did see Braden Platt out there at some point. I don't know how much of him.
So was Dylan Williams.
So I think you got to give credit to the whole front seven. I think that they held up really, really well against the run. I think Iowa's longest run in the game was 9 yards. I don't think they even had a 10-yard run. So in terms of limiting that ability, which it almost makes it frustrating that they just popped these two long passes out of nowhere on plays that we should never let happen. But great job. If you rush for 260 7.3 yards, and you defend the run like we did, it's honestly a miracle we almost lost this game, or crazy we almost lost this game.
Yeah, it is crazy. Let's talk about injuries a little bit. Like, there's a lot to come out, a lot that did come out, a lot left to come out. Decory and Moore, let's start there. Like, I don't know where to go with this. Like, obviously he was not in for this game. Dan said after the game that he tweaked it in practice in spiders, like in just shells a couple days ago, and just they thought that he was going to be okay. I know you heard early on that like it could be season ending. There was concerns that it was a tear. It appears not to be that serious. Fingers crossed. I would personally be surprised if he plays against Minnesota, just because it's a short week and Minnesota's a decent team. I don't know that they need him for that game per se. So I don't know if we will see him again before USC or maybe even Washington, but the fact that it's still open-ended that we could see him again, I think is a good sign.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, it was a bit of I know we were texting about it all night. It was a bit of a stressful evening last night for all of us, just trying to figure out how to navigate talking about injuries, and I tried to put out a good amount of stuff on Twitter. I think, I just want to remind Duck fans that when injuries to significant guys get released in ample time before a game, it is a competitive disadvantage. And you can argue with me like tens of hundreds, it felt like people wanted to do on Twitter today, saying, no, it's not a disadvantage. Like, it is. That's why coaches try to do this. If they were to have found out last night that Decory and Moore wasn't playing, you can shift your game plan. You still have time to do walkthroughs, go over things with your team. Like, that is a true advantage. So, we just do our best to protect the team, protect the staff. That's ultimately what we're trying to do in those situations. Yeah, when it comes to Moore, I don't know exactly. I don't think anyone truly knows what the timeline's going to be. I don't think either of us would be shocked if he played against Minnesota. I don't think either of us would be shocked if it's a 2 to 3 week injury. Like, at this point, I don't know. But, hey, I think we might be getting his body double back. So maybe just replace.
Yeah, I think it's very possible we get Evan Stewart back this week. If not this week, definitely USC. Part of me was thinking, like, he may show up at Iowa. I don't know. I think that they've been trying to ramp him up now. So, excuse me. Kenyon Sadiq begged to play, apparently, according to the CBS broadcast. He's been dealing with hip injuries, ankle injuries since Penn State-Rutgers game. I know he wanted to be out there, but I think he'll be back this next week. Like, he doesn't strike me as someone that they're going to be able to keep off the field.
Yeah, you could tell in warm-ups that him and Harkey, I think generally when a guy's suited and going through warm-ups, at that point it's not really a charade. I think it's an indication at least that they are close. So I think with Harkey and Sadiq, they're probably on the sooner-ish side, I would say. And once again, I just think if you can get those three guys, that there was a lot of worries about this time last night, Roland getting into USC, you get an extra day there after that game. I think you're about as healthy as you can ask for going down the stretch.
Then Gary Bryant Jr. goes down with what looked like, it didn't look like anything when he went down, but when he had to be carried off, initially I was like, oh my God, did he just pop his Achilles? Then he walked off. So I was like, okay, I think it's more just like an ankle. We'll see. But Dan did not have an update after the game. Obviously it's too soon. He'll be asked about that on Monday night, and I'm sure, I shouldn't say I'm sure. We may get an update then. Who knows? With Dan sometimes in injuries. But that would be another brutal one with the way that wide receivers are dropping at this point, and Gary is one of the most reliable guys in that unit. I think they need him desperately for this stretch run.
Pretty crazy. You've seen Cooper Perry out there on the biggest drive of the season, out there in the slot. I know all of us were excited about him and heard different things about him in the offseason, but biggest drive of the season, I'm not sure I was expecting him to be that guy, but heck, he's earned the opportunity. I think he can play a little bit, obviously. There's a reason he's out there, but yeah, I think if you can go from 4 or 5 scholarship guys we had today to getting at least 2 of 3 when it comes to Bryant, Moore, Stewart back in the next week or two, it's a little cleaner down the stretch.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we got to wrap up here soon. Anything else that you want to touch on, whether it's playoff, whether it's big picture stuff? Just curious where your head's at. We've got a show in a couple of days, so I'm sure we can touch on more then.
It's just a massive win. I mean, when you just look at the trajectory moving forward this year, you look about the momentum of the program. I don't know what would have shooken out if we had lost here. I think we could have backdoored in still. And like you said, I don't think any of us are taking these 3 games as a sure thing down the stretch. But, you're 8-1 heading into your final 3. I think there's no way if you win those 3, you're going to be any lower than, any higher, however you think about it, than 6. I think you're either 5 or 6, which the way things are shaking up, that's going to be ACC champ is probably 11 and group of 5 is 12. So you're getting a very, very winnable game at Autzen. And then looking at a second round game, ideally if you're 6, where you're facing probably Indiana again, which I'll take that relative to Ohio State.
Back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, that Indiana game today, man.
crazy
That was a nice little
ending.
prelude into ours.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. I'm curious to see where the playoff ranking shakes out on Tuesday. I just had the TV on earlier. Nicole Auerbach had us up at 8, so moved us up 1 spot. I don't know. It obviously doesn't matter at this point. Keep winning, you're in. Lose 1 game gets dicey. I agree. I think they could sneak in backdoor if they lose 1 more, but I don't want to have to be in that situation. All right, let's wrap it up there. You got anything else before we get out of here?
Nope. I think we'll have plenty more after the rewatch. We can talk Wednesday some more.
I think I'm gonna dial up the rewatch right now. I'm excited to watch this game.
I see you. I respect it.
That was fun, man. That was really fun. Kids are asleep now. I got a drink in hand. Why not? It should be fun.
I know we've harped on it before. The fact that we're not getting after dark ESPN kicks right now. What are we doing? We have Oklahoma Gonzaga basketball.
Yeah. UNLV, Colorado State.
How is there non-conference basketball on ESPN at 7 on a Saturday night? What are we doing?
Terrible. All right. Just, actually, I was going to go through my outro for a normal week. You can watch Jeff Schwartz's Ducks Rising film room when it drops in a few days. That's going to be really fun. I can't wait to watch that. Check us out on YouTube. Find the Ducks Rising podcast on Apple or Spotify. And if you'd be so kind, give us a rating and review. You can follow me at social media at Zachary C. Neel. Follow Travis at Travis Rooke-Ley. But most importantly, go out to Lockerverse. Check out the Ducks Rising podcast feed. I would just say I messed that up a little bit, but sorry, it's late. Subscribe now. Support the program. Let's rise together. We will talk to you guys in a few days.